Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. I haven't met him. He's the worst person.
There you have it. Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw saying on a hot mic that he will effing kill Tucker Carlson. And he says, I'm not joking.
Ana Kasparian reacts to shocking statements threatening Tucker Carlson's life by Dan Crenshaw, as Ana Kasparian, who is no fan of either Tucker Carlson or Dan Crenshaw, reacts to his live comments and the reaction of Tucker Carlson to these vile statements. So let's get in.
Which you should remember as I give you the details of how Tucker Carlson responded to this and what Dan Crenshaw later said. So this was after an interview that took place last week. Texas Representative Dan Crenshaw was caught on that hot mic saying what he said about Tucker Carlson. The interview was published on February 20th, but the clip was only just revealed. Now, when asked to comment by Marjorie Taylor Greene, Crenshaw denied the incident, which again is on video, and he said he wasn't joking. So here's Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, "Did you threaten to kill my friend, Tucker Carlson?" Dan Crenshaw simply says, LOL, no. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Wait, hold on. He wasn't joking in the original video. Maybe that was a joke.
No.
It was, he said LOL, which is a thing people say when they're joking. Why are you trying to make comedy illegal?
Oh my God. Okay, so look, I honestly have not been following or had not been following Dan Crenshaw's beef with Tucker Carlson, but the beef has been happening, okay?
Simmering.
It's been simmering, it's been sizzling, it's been seared. The feud seems to have started back in 2022 when Carlson said this.
The bad arguments that our side is making is very depressing, and they're almost pro-Russia. People are saying, well, we can't put baby formula on our shelves, but we're sending money to Ukrainians. And my response to that is, you know how much baby formula you can buy with $40 billion? None. None, because it's not a money issue, it's a manufacturing issue. It is not America first when you let Russia and China do whatever they want around the world and establish their version of a global order. That puts America last, because we cannot prosper in a global order led by Russia and China.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what you're talking about, Dan Crenshaw? No. But the point is, anyone who disagrees with Dan Crenshaw is pro-Russia, frankly. Well, frankly, Dan Crenshaw is attempting to deflect from answering obvious questions like why the concern over Ukraine's borders and no concern about the border of your own state, Texas. You know, the more I think about it, it takes a lot of gall for Eye Patch McCain to attack moms who are worried about baby formula as, quote, pro-Russia. I mean, that's probably one of the most outrageous things I think I've ever heard.
Okay.
That's not what he did at all.
Okay.
That's wildly intellectually dishonest.
I really don't want to get sidetracked with, adjudicating who's right and who's wrong in this, Republican on Republican violence. But I will say this. He was right about the baby formula. It was a manufacturing issue. There was bacteria getting into the baby formula, and there's a monopoly in terms of manufacturers of baby formula. And so they had to shut down manufacturing, thus lowering supply for baby formula, emptying it had nothing to do with sending money to Ukraine. You can have total disagreement with the US foreign policy in regard to Ukraine. You could say you don't want to send money to Ukraine, but that is a separate issue from the baby formula issue, separate, completely separate. So he was right about that.
And pointing that out does not attack the moms, it attacks the pundits who try to imply that those things are connected.
Exactly. So
now I can understand Ana Kasparian's critique of what Tucker Carlson had to say and how maybe, he did skew it a little bit, but when Tucker Carlson is arguing this with Dan Crenshaw, I mean, his whole basic point is, how are you so concerned with something on the other side of the planet, but you're not concerned with what's going on with the same degree right here at your borders? Like, that to me stands out as a much bigger issue. And I don't know everything about Dan Crenshaw, but I see a lot of mixed things I don't like. And yeah, I'm not too hype on anyone really supporting like the globalist order. So not really too big on that. And yeah, we have spent all sorts of billions of dollars on Ukraine that we're probably never ever going to go back, and half of that has already been laundered. But to Tucker Carlson's point, it's like, yeah, we should really be caring about our own borders like during this whole time. So why we ever did that to begin with doesn't make any sense. But quite frankly, generally speaking, I'm going to trust Tucker Carlson far more than Dan Crenshaw. Let me know whether you agree with that or not in the comments. Leave a like, it helps the algorithm. Let's get back in.
I disagree with Tucker Carlson's take there, but let's get to what has happened. Now, Carlson has gone after Dan Crenshaw repeatedly in the years since. He has called Crenshaw a committed neoliberal. True, I mean, but aren't you neoliberal too? I mean, I know in recent years Tucker Carlson pretends like he's not, but he had no problem with the tax cuts and the austerity measures that the Republican Party had been taking for decades. Anyway, but I'll continue. He's also said that Dan Crenshaw is the most left-wing person I've ever met in Congress, and even asked why isn't Dan Crenshaw bagging groceries at Walmart? Okay, so Crenshaw was asked about Carlson's views.
Because F people who bag groceries in Walmart, in case it wasn't clear, Tucker Carlson. Why does he get like a good, respectable job? Why doesn't he have one of the cheap, stupid peasant jobs that I don't give a damn about? Says Tucker Carlson, the populist.
A lib defending Crenshaw. I guess Crenshaw must be a lib.
Yeah. I'm not as left as Dan Crenshaw in Congress, obviously.
Obviously. Okay, now Crenshaw was asked about Carlson's views on the Ukraine and Russia thing. Here's what he had to say.
Just coming back to this $100 billion to Ukraine, I know that people like Tucker Carlson will make the argument that there's a real opportunity cost there. We could have spent that money on the border or fixing, issues in America. Yeah. What do you make of that argument that all this money could have been spent to help Americans and not Ukrainians?
Well, you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. We spend 75-80% of our budget on a welfare state in America, on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I would love to ask Tucker what he thinks that $100 billion should be spent on, and if he would vote for it as a conservative. Tucker doesn't know what he's talking about. Tucker likes to visit Moscow and talk about how great the grocery stores are. So I don't really take his advice very seriously.
And then, of course, as he was still mic'd, he talked about how he would effing kill Tucker Carlson and said, I'm not joking. I really don't like Dan Crenshaw. I just want to be clear about that. Even though, we just talked about how Tucker Carlson was misrepresenting his argument. What Crenshaw said there about, basically wanting to cut social safety net programs. Yeah,
they both suck.
I loathe both of them. Okay, but anyway. But in response to Crenshaw's threat against him, Carlson posted the following. Why don't you come sit for an interview and we'll see how you do. I'll send you my address. So obviously Tucker Carlson is not afraid of Dan Crenshaw. That was why he said, I'll send you my address. Let's do an interview, whatever.
I do think it's funny that Dan Crenshaw wants to go after Tucker Carlson, accusing him of not knowing what he's talking about. But from what I hear from Dan Crenshaw about Ukraine, I don't think he has a clue what he's talking about. You can let me know what you think in the comments, folks. But yeah, I think he's following the fake globalist narrative on that one. But I would find it very, very entertaining to watch Dan Crenshaw and Tucker Carlson actually sit down and have an interview. It probably wouldn't be so much of an interview as more of them just like spatting at one another, but it'd be fun to watch. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let me know also what you thought about what Ana Kasparian had to say in her reaction to Dan Crenshaw's threats of ending Tucker Carlson's life in this clip. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.